Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 3 Point Weekly. We are recording this immediately after a night where Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson combined for 73 and still did not get a win against Golden State. Gabe is pretty high on Golden State. He's telling me before the recording, there's no shot. They're just better. They're just a superior team, and they might just go on and win a chip. I might think a little bit differently, but we're going to hear from Gabe first and see why he thinks Golden State could end up wrapping this up pretty quick.
All right, listen. You can say, okay, they were up 2-0 against the Suns. The Suns were up 2-0 on the Mavs. And the Mavs came back and won. Unfortunately, I think they kind of pointed out some flaws with that team. And I just don't think the Warriors got those flaws, man. Like, just looking at them, the way they play, like, they're getting beat. Obviously, Steph had a good game last night, but they're getting beat by Wiggs in certain stretches. Like the first half of game one, I think it was. Wiggs played really good. Kevon Looney is killing them. They have great production off the bench. It's like there's really not a weakness off this team. Clay only had 15 last night, and they were still able to get it done. So he's not even like relied upon. It's just there's so much going on, and I feel like that's a team that you really can't expose. So I think this is the end of the line for Dallas.
I don't. I would say I think I said that last series after they went down 2-0. They looked dead in the water after those first two games in Phoenix. I feel like this is a little more hopeful for them because they played so well last night. It was just third quarter was kind of dry for them. The Warriors are notorious at home for going on big third quarter runs, and that's pretty much what happened. Like Kevon Looney changed the game. Steph Curry started hitting his shots, and that pretty much was like the gist of the game changing. And even like Reggie Bullock had, I think, 20 or 21 points. Like he had a really good game. And it's just like, I made a tweet this morning. It's like you got that production from three players and they still lost, which is kind of insane. But one thing Jason Kidd has shown me is that he knows how to make adjustments. And I think he's going to make the proper adjustments. And I don't think the series is over, man. I still think Dallas can win the series, even though they're down 2-0. Golden State did what they had to do. They protected the home court. Now it's, the Mavs turn to do the same thing. But I don't think this series is over. Some people like Gabe think otherwise. Like the Mavs might be lucky to get one game. But I don't know. I think Dallas is too good, and I think they've come this far, and I feel like they still have a legit chance of making this a series.
Give me a percentage.
I still think that I'm still taking Dallas to win the series, honestly.
What's the percent chance that you think Dallas wins versus the percent chance you think that Golden State wins?
Right now, I would say it's probably 60-40 in Golden State's favor, but I'm still hopeful that Dallas can pull this off.
What's your take, Devin?
Yeah, I still got the Mavs. I'm rolling with them. Luka just continues to do his thing, right? That's the biggest thing here is we just know that Dallas are going to have a guy that leads on any given night and is arguably the best guy on the floor on any given night. And as much as obviously they're relying on role players to hit shots, you're relying on guys around Luka to hit shots. Guys have been doing it consistently enough where I don't really go into many games with Dallas worried about who's going to get points other than Luka because Brunson's been very good. Dinwiddie's been inconsistent, but has done it enough that it's been enough alongside Brunson. You've had Dorian Finney-Smith, who's been very good all playoffs. I still think back to when people said his extension was an overpay, and I already think this is probably one of the best value deals in the league. Maxi Kleber has been quite good. As you mentioned, Tyrik Reggie Bullock had a very good night last night, continues to play well. There's enough around Luka that I think they're fine. And as you mentioned as well, Jason Kidd has looked very good for in-series adjustments so far, and I think we'll see some more of that as they head home. All Dallas need to do is get a game on the road. That's all they need to do.
Bro, I'm so tired of the no-help argument. Like,
Bro.
That narrative is terrible. It's terrible. Not only, yes, there's no other all-star on the team, but there is a solid core role players here. And, honestly, I don't – Jalen Brunson is kind of like that, level where he's, I don't know if I want to call it borderline all-star, but it's he's above a role player. He is a dynamic impact guy. He's just, not – on that all-star tier, but he's damn. He had 40 in the first round, didn't he? This dude can go.
Yeah.
And then not even to mention it's the solid pieces. They got a good coach too. So it's even though he's not on the floor, that's some more help as far as schemes and getting people open and getting better looks. team ain't bad. This is a team. It's not Luka and a bunch of nobodies. This is not 2007 Cavs.
Bro, like I had to mute somebody last night because I saw somebody say Luka needs help. It's getting ridiculous. Like, bro, that argument died. It really died during the season because Jalen Brunson was holding it down when Luka missed games. But the way Jalen Brunson has played in this postseason, other than like the first 2 games of the Sun series, maybe he's been elite. He's been really good. And I didn't even realize he had 31 last night until I checked the box score this morning. I'm like, oh, he did have a really big game because he did start out the game really well. But that argument is dead, man. It's dead. And I think, like we've been discussing, like role players for the Mavs have shown like they can make shots. And it's like when they do, this team is so hard to beat because they play with just this confidence. And I think it's kind of created by Luka just of how confident he is to where like once they start hitting shots and they get a lead, they typically don't give those leads up. Last night was really an anomaly. Like they gave up a lead. They typically don't do that because once Dorian Finney-Smith starts hitting shots, Spencer Dinwiddie starts hitting shots, all of a sudden it's like a 20, 25-point game. And then Luka's not even, getting going yet. Like that's just how confident this team plays at times. That's why it was kind of surprising that they did get that big lead last night and blew it. But I think that shows more so the Warriors championship DNA. Like they've been here before. They had this experience. And even in the game where, like you said, Gabe, Clay didn't play his best. Draymond was god-awful last night, but they were still able to win. I think that shows more so than anything, like this is still a championship quality team, and they just had that aura about them.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that. I feel like another thing that obviously gets talked about, but not enough, is like Dallas have gone from being a pretty bad defense to a really good defense. Like Luka has more help, and the defense has significantly improved. Personnel hasn't changed that much, but Jason Kidd has been a big part of that. You can just see that watching the game. Like he is active. He has made sure this team is a good defensive team. And so, yeah, the Luka has no help argument definitely doesn't exist. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, this is still a competitive series in my eyes. I would not be surprised to see it go either way, but I still put my money on Dallas at this point in time.
I like it. What I want to see from Dallas, and the Warriors have always done a good job of hiding Steph Curry. And Steph's not as bad as a defender. Like I think that he maybe has the reputation of. But dog, you got to find ways to attack him, man. You can't just let him keep hedging and picking rolls and shading and doing that. You got to find ways to isolate him and attack him because he is the weakest defender on the floor. Like you got to find ways to really exploit that. They were able to do it. I hate to throw Chris Paul under the bus, but they were able to get Chris Paul on switches, and they were attacking him last series. You got to be able to do the same thing, man. You got to make Steph work. You got to wear him down on the defense side of the floor because if he's fresh in the fourth quarter, you're probably going to lose that game. Like Steph's just that good. If he has fresh legs in the fourth, you're probably losing.
Hey, yeah, dare you call me crazy, but if they put some lineups out there like Brunson, Dinwiddie, and Luka, hey, Curry's guarding one of them because you're not putting Curry on one of the bigs. All three of those dudes, so. They can create a shot. They can go get one. I'd experiment with it.
We'll see. Jason Kidd's shown he's a above average playoff adjustment maker, so we'll definitely see what he comes out with in Game 3.
Luka's tall enough to guard a 3. I mean, maybe not amazingly, especially with what he's doing on offense, but it's not going to be like some terrible, like your average 3-guard lineup is going to be like awful defensively, I don't think.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, for sure. And Luke is better defensively than he used to be. Not that he's amazing by any stretch, but he is better than he used to be. I will give him that.
He gives some effort now. Like he gives a little bit of effort, which is really all you need, man. Defense is like 70% just effort. And the other 30 might be, intangibles a little bit.
100%.
Dubs are just so deep. Like, Kevon Looney is literally the best center left in the playoffs at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with centers.
Hot take.
Like, I keep seeing all this stuff on Twitter. Like, every center's getting played off the floor this playoffs except Kevon Looney. This is insane. This has not been a good, month and a half for centers. I guess we'll really talk about that when we get to the next series, but
yeah, I think it's been bad for the all NBA caliber centers. It's like they've been kind of getting exploited a little bit. Like Cat, not really Embiid, but Jokic was having his struggles in that first round series. It just looks like it's been a little struggle. I think that's like a kind of discussion point. Like, is having a all-star kind of center a little overrated? Like, would you rather have somebody like a Bam or Robert Williams, or I guess a Kevon Looney that can switch multiple and guard multiple positions, do the dirty work, rebound, block shots, or have somebody like Embiid. I don't know. It's a discussion, I guess.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Denver made the conference finals when they were healthy. And I don't know. I guess you can question having like building around Embiid, I guess, if you want. They should have a conference finals appearance by now, especially last year. They blew that bad. I don't know. It's just like it always seems like it's the players around Embiid selling. So it's like at a point, it's like, yeah, you don't want to deflect all the blame off of him. But if you just watch the game, it never looks like it's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's still, you can definitely still get away with building around a big. You just need that perimeter guy that can close games. If you're a Giannis, you have your Chris Middleton. And if you're Embiid, you need a much better version of James Harden than what's currently there.
Cat's got Patrick Beverly.
He's got Anthony Edwards. He'll be fine in a year or two.
Man, I don't even know if we should dive into James Harden. I've talked so much about him in the last couple of weeks, mainly with my dad, which is crazy because I'm known as like one of the biggest James Harden fans around. And it's like I'm like good enough to give him criticism when he deserves it, and he definitely deserves it.
He had a great peak.
He did, man. But it's like whatever that hamstring injury seemed to just really have bothered him so much to where it's like he doesn't take care of his body as he should. So now it's like, you know, that hamstring's lingering. He's just not the same player, man. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Joel Embiid said. That's not the James Harden that they were expecting to get. I just know it wasn't. They were expecting to get at least like the version of James Harden we saw at least early this season in Brooklyn, like around December-ish. But no, they got like, I don't know, glorified like John Stockton, Steve Nash, James Harden. Like, come on, man. Like, they weren't expecting that at all. He's got to come back. He's got to take care of his body, man. He got to come back and just be better. He can't be having games where he's putting up like 15 points, bro.
He's still like a top 5-6 shooting guard of all time, right?
He's still top 5. I think he's cemented as a top 5.
I mean, I guess it depends on your Iverson qualification, but I usually qualify him as a shooting guard. So then I usually think Mike, Kobe, Wade, Iverson. I think it's like probably like Harden and Drexler next to each other for me as 5 and 6.
I have Harden at 4. And I don't really do
Iverson.
I don't really do rankings like that, but I would have Harden at 4. I think the top 3 cemented, and I think
top 3 is easy.
Harden, like he's just missing like those legacy pieces, like a championship. If he had a championship, he might be ahead of D Wade, to be honest. But he doesn't have that, so here we are. And those are my 2 favorite 2 guards of all time.
Hey, D Wade got good teammates and he got it done. Harden had Chris Paul. Yeah, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double.
With no center.
And he's still – James Harden still could not get it done.
Actually, I think that's the one season Russ did not average a triple-double.
Yeah.
But he
averaged 27, 9, and 9. My bad.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 and 8. But that was like his most efficient season of all time. He shot like 48% from the field. Ridiculous. Yeah. I had people telling me, like, after Embiid came back, they was like, oh, Miami's not winning another game in this series. I'm like, Miami's still winning this series, man.
Yeah. Facts, though. Sure, there would have been some people, but, like, I would assume the large majority of people would have still took Miami, even if Embiid was perfectly healthy going into that series.
Yeah, for sure.
He's always banged up in the postseason, man. You just got to expect it at this point. It's every year. He's got to play like Kawhi, like a Kawhi schedule to stay healthy in the playoffs at this point.
I mean, some guys just got to do that, man. It's just the way it is.
I mean, he tried to play as much as possible, and he still couldn't get MVP over Jokic. So,
man,
did you guys see like the tweets or reports about like the city of Philadelphia trying to name him MVP officially in their own way?
Most valuable Philadelphia. Dude, that was wild. That was
no way.
I would literally take that trophy. You know what Kanye did with his Grammy? That's what I'm doing with that trophy, bro. I swear.
Pissing in it.
Yes.
I was having a discussion with a friend. She's about to go work in Philly next year. And we just don't think Philly's a real place, man. Like you look at everybody that's famous from Philly, like they just don't seem like real people. Meek Mill, he doesn't seem like a real person. Lil Uzi Vert does not seem like a real person.
Lil Uzi is an anomaly, bro.
Will's from Philly, but is Will really a real person? I'm not too sold on that, man. I don't know. Yeah,
is Will Smith too, bro.
Only one that's real is probably Kobe, but he left when he was a kid. So does he even count?
Yeah, he was born there, but he was raised in Italy.
Facts. So he might be excluded, man.
He left because it doesn't exist.
Allegedly. But now, y'all want to talk about the Eastern Conference Finals, which has been pretty boring the first two games?
Yeah.
I mean, nah, I'm sorry. It was not boring.
Game one was okay.
Game one was
okay. Game one was okay.
Game one, I was so entertained watching that game. Like, obviously, it was kind of a tale of two halves. Like, one half was just a blowout in one direction, one half was a blowout in the other. But, dude, Jimmy Butler is just so entertaining. Like, I finally – somebody tweeted this, and it made me finally realize it because I'm like, why do I like Jimmy so much when I, like, usually don't like the foul baiting stuff? Like, when, like, Trey does it, it annoys me. When Luka does it, it annoys me. And Embiid annoys me. All that kind of stuff. I don't like it. Jimmy, when he draws fouls, does it off actual basketball moves, and he just actually gets people to bite on pump fakes and stuff all the time. And it's like, how does he keep getting away with this? How are you jumping at Jimmy so hard, bro? But he just does it, and it's beautiful. This is literally, as far as using actual basketball moves, he's the best at drawing fouls in the game. Very
Dwayne Wade-esque, like with the pump fake and just the way he gets to the basket, getting fouls. Kind of similar in that boat. Yeah, Jimmy's good. How many did he shoot? Like, was it 12 free throws in game one? I don't
18.
remember. It was 18?
I think it was 18. 17 for 18, I think he went. That was the stat.
Yeah, I think the issue with game one is literally, I saw Devin tweet about it. It's like the Celtics were missing probably their two best defenders, or two of their three best defenders in Horford and Smart. So it's like they were able to attack the Tice minutes. They were able to attack Payton Pritchard minutes. And it's like Jimmy's good enough to take advantage of Payton Pritchard. You know, maybe the Bucks couldn't do it, but Jimmy's good enough to take advantage of Payton Pritchard. So it's like, you know, he got his 40. He had a 22-2 run. It really just seemed like the Celtics missed their bets in that third quarter. And usually Smart and Horford are so good at stopping the bleeding. And now Tatum has to handle the ball. He's turning the ball over like crazy. JB's turning the ball over. They don't have anybody to set them up, get good shots. It pretty much just seemed like they missed their two guys. And then game two was just like the Celtics shot crazy from three-point range, which you would say like maybe that's not sustainable. But last series they literally hit 110 threes in the 7-game series. So it's like the one thing that I thought the Celtics would be weak at, which is half-court offense to shoot a three-point shot, they've probably been like the best team in the postseason at making threes. So I don't think like that's too far-fetched to say that they cannot keep that up. And if that's the case, I don't think there's any chance that Miami has of winning the series. Like, I think the Celtics are just a better team. I think they're even deeper than Miami. And I think they don't really have anybody that's exploitable. I think Tyler Hero can be exploited on defense. Max Strus is okay. I think he's a good defender. But I don't think he's good enough to where Tatum and Brown can't take advantage. Same thing with Gabe Vincent. Both of those guys are fine defenders, but they're exploitable for sure. And just because James Harden couldn't do it doesn't mean that Tatum and Brown won't be able to. And they showed in game two that they were able to. And now going back to Boston, Miami should just be happy that it's 1-1, so they still have a chance. But it feels like it's like almost 2-0 Celtics right now. It really does.
Luke Cornett playoff minutes happened last night, bro.
Bro.
Nick Stauskas playoff minutes.
I was looking. I forgot Jawan Morgan was even on the roster. I was like, who is number 4? I'm like, oh, it's Jawan Morgan. I forgot he even played.
I did not know that Luke Cornett or Nick Stauskas was on that roster, I'll be honest.
Luke Cornett looks like a 2K my player, bro.
Omer Yurtseven got some tick last night.
Yeah, what do y'all think? Like, do y'all think Miami even has a chance in this series?
No. I never thought they had a chance, to be honest.
I think
did.
And once
Okay.
once Smart and Horford came back, it was just like, yeah, no, this doesn't go further than 6.
I think they have it. I think they have a chance just because Spoelstra can make adjustments.
He can. Yep.
Jimmy Butler is that guy. They have a closer. They have a star that if you can keep it close till the 4th, he can take over and get you one. Obviously, when this team gets hot, they can go nuclear. They have the pieces there. At this point, I'm not relying on like a Duncan or anything to get hot. I just think it's not happening. But like I think the pieces are there. I'm really tired of people saying that the Heat are like bubble frauds and all that, because like they're literally back in the conference finals. They beat Philly to get there, who people regarded pretty highly, I'd say. And I mean, it's only 1-1 right now. Like, unless I really doubt that they're gonna lose 4 straight. So if it at least goes to 6, like, bro, you're not frauds. If you made the finals once, 2 years later, you're 2 games away. Like, it's not like you were a fluke. It's not like you went from the finals to like consistent first round out, barely making the playoffs, 7 seed. Like, this is a good team, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jimmy's definitely beat those bubble allegations too. Because I mean, last postseason he was terrible. We know that, but he's probably been like top 2 or 3 player in this playoffs. You know,
Also,
if you make the argument, he's been
Lowry.
number 1. Yeah, I was about to ask about Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker are trying to at least play in game 3. They're going through the warm-up process, I think it said, so we don't know if they're going to actually be in or not. Just from a playmaking perspective and like getting good shots up, I think Kyle Lowry is so good at running an offense. That might be a little biased, but then especially something I think it was I heard Kenny mention was just how important he is for getting Bam shots.
Yes.
And given how Bam has played this series, that is definitely a factor. Like, it's not even like a low-key thing. That's a pretty big factor. So I don't think it's over just because of that fact. If Kyle Lowry comes into this series and it's like, if it's either tonight or if it's like 2-1 Miami or even 1-2, like that's still plenty of time to come in and make an impact.
Yeah, no, definitely. Lowry's always been good at that. I mean, I remember even back to the JV days in Toronto, like that would usually be Lowry's first thought in the game is he'd get the ball and let's try and get JV going and get him a bucket. So that definitely plays a part for Bam. That's unfortunately one of the biggest reasons I'm down on Miami is like Bam and Hero aren't even averaging 30 points a game combined throughout the playoffs. It's just not good enough. And certainly Lowry being out plays a part in that, specifically for Bam. But I mean, Hero just hasn't shot well, specifically from deep, and that has to change. I mean, Jimmy surprised me, but I thought he was going to have to be their go-to guy heading into the playoffs based on how Jimmy was shooting in the regular season. When you look at how he was shooting from deep, obviously he's changed that in the playoffs. But those guys just have to do better if they're going to have a chance in this series. Lowry can come back. PJ can be healthy. The guys can be hitting their shots from a role player standpoint. If Bam and Hero can't get going more offensively, they don't stand a chance as far as I'm concerned. But they need those guys to step up for sure.
Hopefully Kyle is actually healthy because when he tried to play, I think it was game 3 or 4, maybe both games in the Philly series, he just looked like he shouldn't be out there. He looked like hurt, like he was hobbling up the court. Wasn't even looking to take shots. It was just like he looked bad. So hopefully he's healthy if he does try to come back. Same thing with PJ because they are very important for this team. Like they haven't been at full strength all year. We know that. But Bam has to be better. Whether Kyle's on the floor or not, he's too talented. He has to be better. Not saying he has to dominate the Horford/Robert Williams matchups, but he can't completely outright lose those matchups, man. Al Horford came back, outplayed him. I would say Rob Williams outplayed him in the first game. Like he can't lose those matchups, man. He has to be better. And same thing with Tyler Hero, man. He's a high volume. You know, he takes a lot of shots. So sometimes when they're going in, you know, he's going to rack up his points. It looks good. But when he's missing, it's like he's not giving you anything else. He might give you like a few assists, but that's it. Defense non-existent. So it's tough, man. It's like everything's working against Miami. It's like they ran into a bad matchup for them, which when we flash back to the bubble a couple years ago, this was a bad matchup for the Celtics because it's like Bam was dominating the center matchup. He was dominating Tyson and it's then Cantor back then. Like he was dominating that matchup. And that was completely opposite, man. Jimmy's going to do his thing. I think the Celtics this playoffs, they've been content with letting one guy do whatever they want and shutting everything else down. They did the same thing with the Bucks. Giannis was getting his, but it wasn't the easiest of 40 points for Giannis. He was taking 30 shots, every game to get those 40 points. I think it's the same thing with Jimmy. We're going to let Jimmy cook, do what he wants. He's going to see some bodies, though, and we're not going to let Max Strus hit 5 threes. We're not going to let Tyler Hero give 22 off the bench, and we're not going to let Bam get going. And I think that's really the key because Miami's the type of team, like Gabe said, they can heat up in a hurry, no pun intended, but they can really, get hot. And if you limit those guys, if Strus is not getting his same looks, Hero's not getting his looks, Gabe Vincent, seems tough to get going, man. Jimmy can't carry the load every single night because he's shown, even when he drops 40, they can still lose that game.
Yeah, if anybody needs help, it's Jimmy, bro. Just look at the stats. He's leading the league in steals this playoffs, 0.2 points away from 30, 7.5 rebounds, 5 assists. The dude is he's doing everything for them out there.
Definitely. He deserves all the credit. I did not realize it was this low. I know Bam's not been taking his shot shots in the playoffs. He's averaging 8.2 field goal attempts per game. That is certainly attributable to some extent to Lowry being out of the lineup, but from a team perspective and a Bam perspective, that has to change. He's shooting 8.2 field goals per game. That is it.
That's low.
That is it. He's shooting 59.4% from the field, but only 8.2 attempts per game.
How many is Max Strus and Gabe Vincent shooting? I feel like
probably not much different than that. Probably not much different than that.
Jimmy's taking 19.6, by the way.
Strus is taking 10.2.
Come on, bro.
8.4 from deep.
Come on, bro.
So if we're feeding Max Strus more than we're feeding Bam Adebayo, then that's a problem.
Y'all remember
one of two reasons.
Y'all remember back in it might have been 2018, 2019, when Jokic would have games where he would take one shot.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, bro, be more aggressive. And then he started getting more aggressive and he won MVPs. Bam needs to be more aggressive, man. He should be taking at least 15 shots. I don't care how he's getting them. He should be taking at least 15 shots, bro. 100%. He's the second best player on this team for a reason.
I don't know if they're defending him well enough, though. It's is him taking more shots the best shot to take? I don't know. I guess if he is shooting a solid clip, then yeah. But
if I'm losing with my best guys taking the shots, man. Just like how the Suns, it seemed like Chris Paul didn't want to take shots. I don't want to see Jay Crowder taking side step threes. Chris Paul, get in your bag. I don't know if he was hurt or not, but still, you're playing. So take those shots, man. Get in the offense.
That was embarrassing.
Same thing with Bam. Yeah, I don't even think that's worth talking about, bro. That was just so bad.
There's no analysis to be done. I think it was Rusty who said it best. Just this was so embarrassing that you just gotta clown the Suns at that point. There's no this is why the Suns lost. It was everything, literally everything.
Bro, in my video, I was just I was kind of worked up before I recorded, but then when I started, I just didn't know what to say. I was just I didn't know what to say. It was just it was so shocking and so bad from the Suns to where they just got punched in the mouth and they just didn't know what to do. I guess they got humbled finally, which is what NBA Twitter's been saying.
Yeah,
I was rocking with the Suns so heavy, but they let me down.
I said some crazy things this year talking about the Suns.
I think now I'm kind of over anything. I'm probably rooting for the Steph Finals MVP, but
okay,
I don't know. I think if Tatum wins, he'll cement himself as one of the top maybe 8 in the league, and I think that would be really cool to see. And then Jimmy finally getting his, I would love. So
I think with anybody winning this season, it would be a good story.
Or Steph getting his Finals MVP. So
imagine if Steph did what if Kevon Looney gets Finals MVP?
Steph got to retire, bro.
That would be crazy. I don't know. What matchup are y'all hoping for in the finals? Since y'all are unbiased fans, what are y'all hoping for?
I kind of want Dallas Boston. I kind of want Dallas
Okay.
Boston. I want the two young rising stars and Luka and Tatum to have a matchup.
I think I'm the complete opposite. I want Warriors Heat because, bro, I really want that Steph Finals MVP so bad, and I love seeing the Warriors play with this roster, like Steph, Clay, Poole, Wiggins doing his thing. So they got so many guys. It's just fun to watch play. And then Draymond running the show. It's like, dude, you can't hate that. But then Miami, I just said earlier in the episode, dude, I love watching Jimmy close games. Like, it might be one of my favorite things to do in the sport. And so it's like, I want to see that too. And especially I want to see Jimmy win one because it'll finally close the narrative of like when Jimmy used to be like a team locker room cancer and he was the villain and the bad guy, went to his own team, went to the bubble, finally kind of started to prove the doubters wrong, but everybody called him a bubble fraud. Played bad, got punched in the mouth by Milwaukee, and to finally complete the arc.
Bro,
Get
people
that ring.
forget. People forget Jimmy was really going like shot for shot with LeBron in the finals.
I actually think Dallas versus Boston is probably the weakest matchup just because if it's Dallas versus Miami, it's like that's low-key the Pat Riley, Mark Cuban rubber match. Because you think they had 2006, Miami took the first round, ran it back in 2011 in a different era. I mean, kind of still the same because it was still Dirk and D-Wade, but obviously things were much different. This would be Heat, Mavericks 3 to kind of like maybe end the Pat Riley, Mark Cuban rivalry. I don't know. But I think that would be a very interesting storyline. And then Golden State, Miami, two of the most successful franchises of like the past decade or so, meeting in the finals. Plus, like Steph's Finals MVP versus Jimmy getting it done. I think there's a lot of storylines there. But I guess the only thing you could say is Boston, Dallas is the battle of the young stars. I think Luka and Tatum could battle it out to really see which one might be one of the torchbearers for the next generation. I mean, both of them probably will be, but they can get some bragging rights for at least a little bit.
Yeah, as a Celtics fan though, I feel like that matchup with Dallas worries me a little more. Which is it sounds crazy. I know it does. It sounds crazy to say. I just don't think Golden State matches up good with the Celtics. Like I think Dallas has the wing defenders to really match up with Tatum and Brown. They do a lot of like switching stuff. Dwight Powell can switch. Maxi Kleber hasn't been bad defensively really in the playoffs. So I think they match up really good with Boston. I don't feel the same way about Golden State. Then again, Golden State does have the championship pedigree, so maybe that will outweigh any type of matchup. I don't know. I hope we get a good finals. I really do. I can't remember last year if the finals was actually good or maybe it just had good moments and really like last postseason in general. But I don't know. I just hope we have a good NBA finals. Like if it's a 7-game series, I might be stressing if the Celtics are in that 7-game series, but it'll be good from the aspect as a basketball fan.
I feel like last finals was pretty good. I know like the biggest moment I remember is super close game. Drew Holiday gets the steal and throws a lob, the ridiculous lob. That's probably like the moment.
Devin, you might be muted, bro.
The technical difficulties strike again.
Man.
What is going on here?
We can hear you. We can hear you. You good?
Yeah, okay, I'm back. It switched to my other mic randomly for like 5 seconds.
The curse of Duncan Robinson is living strong, man.
I don't know if that'll make it into the video, but we started slandering that $90 million contract, and it just ordered everything.
Duncan had that on lock. He wasn't having it.
Rent free.
But last finals was like defined by like 3 moments. The Giannis lob from Drew Holiday, then the block on the 8-in, and then Giannis's 50-point game to close it out.
I think that's every finals though. Like, bro, the 2016 finals is regarded as one of the best ever and had one good game. Yeah.
Well, man, Game 5 was actually pretty good. I remember that game.
Game 5, that was 41-41, wasn't it?
Yes.
Iconic graphic, iconic moment, yeah. But like at the very least, more than half of those games were not good games.
Even Game 7 was kind of nasty. It was disgusting. Nobody was hitting shots. It was just a close game.
I know. It's so funny seeing, like, that was 2016, and, like, with a minute left in the game, the iconic shot of 89-89.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Chris Middleton had 4. People forget Chris Middleton dropped 40 in the finals last year. That gets slept on, man. He does.
Man, what's his name? James Christian Middleton?
I don't know. I just saw they called him Michael Jordan last year in the playoffs.
All I'll say is I said he'd be an all-star when no one said he would be.
Devin that's got to be the biggest hot take of this whole podcast existence. Is Devin saying that Chris Middleton was going to be an all-star this year.
We did look at him like he was crazy. He was like, what? That was like our second episode. He was like, what? Nah.
What are you talking about, man?
Man. I was like, oh, yeah. I just want to ask y'all this because I've been kind of on the fence. Do y'all think, like, if Chris Middleton would have played in that series, like, the Bucks would have definitely won? Because I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced, honestly.
I think it still would have been close. I don't think Middleton being back makes it an uncompetitive series, but the fact that it was as close as it was without Middleton, I'd probably say that the Bucks do win with him.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Boston still won it. I think it's still be a competitive series.
There's always the weird thing where it's like it messes up your game plan because you game plan for the team as it is. And I swear, every time it's like the first couple of games a team doesn't have a player, they always come out of the gate swinging because I think the other teams just know what to do. It's the same thing like in football. Like a team brings in a backup QB, and that player might be significantly worse than the starter, but you're not used to like planning for their play styles, and they kind of come out and they give you the work for a little bit, and it's like that could definitely have been a major thing, but like I don't know, just based on the way the series went, it's like Chris's impact is really late in a game, close down the stretch, and you like need somebody to get you a bucket to really close it out. But like none of the games were close, and the ones that were like game 5 and like game 3, like those were the games that Milwaukee already won. Yeah. So it's like I don't know how much it changes things because you already lost the games by like you lost by like 30.
I think there were a couple of games though where like I think game 4 really comes to mind. Like they could have really used him down the stretch because they weren't getting any offense from anybody. And you could just tell like Drew Holiday looked dead tired at certain points in that series. And we know Giannis, like he's typically not like the guy that closes games out for them, even though like he shown that he can make big plays down the stretch, which is obvious. He's a great player. But I think a couple games they did miss Chris. Like there was like, because he's another dude, he just stops the bleeding for them sometimes. And he just hits some tough shots. He's a tough shot taker, but he makes those tough shots. And he did the same thing for them last year in the playoffs, especially like when you look at their championship run last year, I remember like game 7 against the Nets, he was just making some tough shots, like shots that, you know, only closers can make. So I don't know. I feel like if he played, they might have won that series maybe in like 6 games. Like just the way that it went, it's just like, dang, if they had Chris right now, he could help close this game out. And it just seemed like they missed him at, you know, certain points, man. But I still think I agree with you, Devin. Like I feel like the series still would have been very competitive, very close. But it's just got me thinking like, dang, the Celtics have kind of got the injury luck this season. So you got to take advantage of it.
I was going to mention that low key. Just like if they win the title, kind of where does it rank among titles? Or like how are you viewing that title within a lens? Because they beat the Nets, but no Simmons. But it's like Simmons never played for them before. So then it's like that low-key just was the Nets because it's a piece that was never on the court for them to begin with. And then it's like the Bucks, which it's still like you beat the best player in the league, but you beat the best player in the league that is number 2. Then you beat Miami, who everybody still like thinks is not good for some reason. I don't know. And then you go into the finals and you beat like, say, Golden State, who has 5 championship appearances, 3 rings with this core.
I don't know. As a fan, my response would be we won the championship. Like that's gonna be my response if we pull it off. That's all I'm gonna say. But I feel like every team, like every championship team, gets some luck along the way. I just think that's a matter of basketball. The Bucks did that last season. The Warriors dynasty was built off of some injury luck. Even the Cavs, when they came back, like they got some lucky stuff going on along the way. So it's like, it happens with the best of teams, really. So you just got to be able to take advantage of it, though, because some teams are not able to take advantage of it, which is like a very true fact. Like the Rockets could not take advantage of it in 2019 when I think KD went down in that second round series and they lost the last 2 games. So, it's a little bit of luck, but it's also, seizing the moment and taking advantage of the opportunity.
No, 100%. Every team that wins a title pretty much gets some amount of luck that you just have to take advantage of. I mean, we look at titles now. Everyone pokes a hole in some title in terms of getting some benefit. If Boston do win this year, you'll have that Chris Middleton injury brought up. People will poke at injuries last year, of course, throughout the playoffs with all the injuries there were. People always talk about the Lakers being in the bubble. People, of course, will talk about the Raptors championship with KD being out and Clay getting injured. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, to win a title, you are going to have some amount of luck along the way. It's very rare that we go through a playoffs that doesn't have injuries. Ideally, that would be the case, but that's just not the way it is. So you win a title, you did something right. That's how I see it.
I think it feels 100%. A little less impactful now because, like this year especially, like we've had injuries, but it's rarely been like the number ones. Like Embiid got kind of banged up, but it's like Giannis was in, KD was in, like obviously teams left. Like Luka was out for like at the very beginning, but ever since he came back, he's been in. Jimmy's been in. Curry's been in, even though he started on the bench, so he kind of started weird too. But ever since like about halfway through the first round, everybody's number one has been in. So it's like there's been pieces out, but it's like your marquee matchups and your marquee names are still on the court.
Yeah, which if you have your best guy, you at least got a chance. Like you have a small chance. Even like maybe except for like the Nuggets. But some people did think they had a chance to win that series. I might have been one of those people.
I feel like you guys were giving the Nuggets a pretty solid chance against Golden State, and I was not feeling it. I was definitely not feeling it.
I think I might have said 6 or 7 Warriors. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I had them in 6. Thought it was going to be slightly more competitive than it was, but
it was like it was a 5-game series, but it was like I think 4 of the 5 games were pretty close, or maybe the last 3 were. I don't know. That feels like so long ago.
It might be time for me to be that guy. It might be time for me to make a bold claim, and it's about time. We're pretty deep into the episode. If the Celtics win the title, I think it just cements it as the worst season for the Lakers in history, bro. Because, like, if you think about it, bro, you had all these expectations. You missed the playoffs. Things go downhill. In 2020, you tied the Celtics for the most rings in history. And, bro, you lost the tie. You're already as down as you can be, and that's the team that wins, so you don't hold that record as tied for the most titles anymore. That's just insult to injury. It's really
that's gonna make it even more sweet if we're able to win the championship, which there's still a lot of basketball left to be played. But if we can pull that off, I can't wait to rub it in the face of Laker fans, man.
Reports came out that Westbrook's staying is becoming more and more likely.
Because who are they gonna trade him to? I don't like how Russ has kind of gotten like the real scapegoat label because everybody knew it wasn't a good fit. I think a lot of people, like me included, I just thought like the talent of LeBron and AD would be good enough to where it wouldn't like be as evident that, hey, Westbrook's not the perfect fit, but we can make it work because we have LeBron and Anthony Davis. And, I feel like Russ has gotten a bad rap. I feel like Frank Vogel got a bad rap too. And somewhere, we probably talked about this before, but where's Rob Pelinka? Like he's hiding somewhere. I haven't heard from him. I want to hear from Rod. Like what's going on, man? Like you made all these moves. I don't know.
Yeah. I was about to say, funny. I feel like I feel like Russ isn't the scapegoat. Obviously he gets a lot of flack, but it's like Vogel lost his job. Like
he did.
He got fired.
But
AD
if they could
slandered, like AD gets slandered to all hell. Like
if they could just fire Russ, they would.
That's true. Everybody's been on AD's ass all year. It's really everybody but LeBron. I feel like THT has, got his whole thing of like him being a bad fit and all that, and because they could have flipped him for better pieces and they didn't. So it's like
That was
he's
Lakers
got,
fans' fault for hyping
Yes,
him up.
thank
I'm
you.
gonna be honest. That was
Thank
Lakers
you.
fans.
Yeah,
I made a video on him last summer, and I called him a bad fit, and I called him overhyped, and that was a fun time for Lakers fans, and yeah, like he's a fine player, but
Yes.
that's all he is. He's fine, and he's not great off the ball alongside LeBron. That's just the reality of it.
He's like a 6'3" wing player. Like he's fine. He's okay, but people was like, oh, he's an all-star. He's better than SGA. Like,
nah, he's a raw talent, but yeah, you need him to be developed. I don't think he's a guy that can be a contributor on the championship roster.
yeah, he's shown like end of the season when they had nothing to play for, he's going to have some big games.
Yeah, I
And
feel
it's like,
yeah,
if you put the ball in his hands, he can be okay.
it's everybody who's not LeBron has just been catching flack. Like, bro, I swear I've heard hella Trevor Ariza slander, and I'm like, dude, that's the most random player.
Since we're talking about the Lakers, I remember there was a time, like it was maybe during like February-ish when they were still, they still had hope. Laker fans still had hope. I went into their spaces just to see what they was talking. It was after a loss, man. And they were swearing up and down like, man, Avery Bradley's the problem. It's Avery Bradley's fault. Get him out the lineup. Why is Vogel playing Avery Bradley? I'm like, bro, Avery Bradley's like y'all's best defender, bro. Like, take him out the lineup, y'all are not getting any stops, bro. And look what happened. They didn't get any stops after they took him out the lineup.
Bro, their second best player this year might have been Malik.
And even he was inconsistent.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna lose him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Unless they want to pay him like I don't know, 15 mil maybe.
They can't pay him anyways. They don't have bird rights on him.
Oh,
all they can offer is the taxpayer mid-level exception. So he's gone.
He's gone.
Somebody's gonna offer him a decent bag.
He's gone.
He's going to some small market. I don't know where, because like
Detroit. I don't know. Detroit has money. That's the only reason why I said that.
I don't know. Detroit has money, but I feel like he'll be looking for something multi-year, and I think Detroit's gonna want that money free for future years.
Potentially, yeah.
They're gonna have to give Bagley his big bag.
I can't wait to. I seen Devin already got a head start. I can't wait to start making off-season videos. I just want to talk about teams that are rebuilding or need to make moves.
Hey, speaking of teams rebuilding, little segue. How about Orlando, man, with that number 1 pick? What do you think they're doing there?
Go ahead, Devin. Take the floor.
And I really like Orlando. I really do. I'm really high on them right now. I don't think they're quite a playoff team next year, but I don't think they're far off. I'm really high on Franz. Wendell Carter looks really good. I'm not the best draft guy. I really don't know for sure what they're going to do at number 1 here, but ultimately they're going to end up with what should be a fairly good prospect. Mo Bamba will be gone, of course, now most likely, but that was probably the case regardless. This is a really good team. They have a lot of pieces already. The fact that trade deadline last year, they were just starting their rebuild, and they already have this many assets is ridiculous. They have Franz. They have Wendell Carter Jr. They have Markelle Fultz. You have Cole Anthony. You're going to have another number 1 overall pick coming in now amongst other guys that are already on the team that are playing quite well. You still have Jalen Suggs who could potentially come into something. Like, this is a really, really good team that have rebuilt really well. Full kudos to their front office. That Nikola Vucevic trade especially was absolutely absurd, the amount of value they got out of that. So fair play to them. I think they're probably only a year or two away from being a playoff team. And whether they go homegrown, whether they go elsewhere with that first overall pick, I really like where they're at.
Agreed.
It's Jabari. I think Jabari's the pick.
Yeah, I'm not I haven't done all my draft research, but from what I do know, at least my opinion, I feel like Jabari Smith's probably like the most upside prospect. And I think that's what this team needs. Like you said, Devin, they got a lot of really good young talent. They have a lot of guards, Suggs, Cole Anthony, Markelle, even RJ Hampton's still there. Probably forgot somebody else. Like, they got so many guards. They got a lot of, front court players too. Like, they got a lot of players that deserve NBA minutes, which is what I like about the rebuild, because they had the idea, like, we're gonna go get a bunch of good young talent, and let them compete and see who comes out. And we'll see who comes out of the guard rotation and the front court too. But I think Jabari's the guy. I think he has the most upside, and I think this team is just missing somebody that can be a true centerpiece. And nobody on this roster right now seems like they can be like a true centerpiece for this team, but they have a lot of like good supporting players, which, you know, can be just as difficult to find, like find a lot of good role players, guys that just know their role. Like that can be just as difficult to find as like a centerpiece type dude. But with this pick, they had the chance, man. And I think if they do take Jabari, I think he can be that guy. And I like what Jamal Mosley has done. He just seems like somebody that's going to be really good at just developing this young talent. And even like second half of the season, they were like a really good defensive team. Like you saw the strides of this team. Wendell was playing like an all-star the second half of the season. So, between them and Detroit, those are like my favorite two rebuilding teams because I just think they're doing it the right way. Just getting young talent, letting them play and develop. And, you know, getting high draft picks, even though Detroit fell in the lottery, but I don't think that's really going to hinder them too much. But, yeah, the future looks pretty bright in Orlando, man. I'm excited for that organization moving forward.
Man, you mentioned Jamal Mosley. I'm so happy that it's like, the first-year coaches that came in, not really – I feel like not really any of them have got, like, let go or, like, they're getting some leeway. When they come into these bad situations, it's like him and Willie Green was probably the most impressive to me. I think, obviously – okay, I would probably second most impressive because, like, I mean, Ime Udoka's still playing right now. But to me, those two were, like, the top two new hires of the past season. And Willie Green for having his star player out the whole season, being able to secure that 8 seed and give the Suns some work, develop all those rookies the way he did and, like, bring that team together. Dude, the new coach class, I guess we'll call it, of 2021, big success.
Yeah, I don't even think like Chauncey Billups did that bad in Portland. And he was getting a lot of flack before the year started. But given the hand that was dealt and Dame missed basically the whole season, you know, I feel like he did a pretty good job too. So, yeah, good point, Gabe. I feel like the first-year coaches, this was a good class of first-year coaches. And that's why, back real quick, because Darvin Ham's a finalist for the Laker job, I hope he doesn't get it because I just feel like that's going to be like the most stressful first-year head coaching job that could possibly be available.
Yeah, I don't think any first-time head coach can succeed in the Lakers. Like, that is a tough role to be in year one. You're talking the basketball side of things. You're talking just general egos with LeBron and AD and Russ, and you have to manage that locker room, not to mention the media that comes with being in that organization. Like, that is a very tough ask for any head coach, never mind a first-time head coach.
Dude, definitely. Terry Stotts is a terrible candidate, and Mark Jackson would be stupid for taking that job too. Like Mark Jackson, I think he can go into a team and do solid, but bro, they're gonna bring him in. I
don't think so. No,
he's not, and I'm kind of glad that he's not. Because if he would have came in, bro, they would have folded because the roster's not good, and then would have been like, oh, see, Mark Jackson can't coach. It was all Steve Kerr. This is why the Warriors fired him. Like, bro. Stop.
It's almost a lose-lose situation going to the Lakers. And even like I think Kenny Atkinson's the third finalist, and like that just doesn't make a lot of sense because he's like, I don't know, he has the rap of like a guy like you got some young players, he's gonna develop them, they'll be fun, they'll be competitive, but the Lakers are like the oldest team in basketball, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense either way.
The Nets Terry fired Stotts, him when they got stars.
Terry Stotts looks like just another Frank Vogel in a sense. Like,
but like the opposite end, you know? Like Frank Vogel, like not a great offensive coach, but like solid defense. Terry Stotts, he has solid offense, but bro, you can't if you want to make this team's defense worse. I
guess. I don't know, man. Anyways, I can't wait to get into draft talk though, because I think this class is pretty interesting. There's obviously the top 3 guys. I'm a little higher on some of those top 3 guys than others, but I think given the right situation, they can all thrive. Is OKC pick 2 or 3?
They're pick 2.
OKC is pick 2, and they're definitely taking Chet, bro. Just like based off like social media interactions between Chet and Josh Giddey recently, and the fact that it's already probably a pretty natural fit. Yeah, I think it's a guy they can use at a position where they don't really have anybody like worth not taking Chet over. Like, it's Chet.
Yeah, I agree. I just think I don't know. I'm not that high on Paolo. Maybe I need to do some more draft research for real. Because when I just watched him, I just wasn't like super impressed. But I could see where the talent could be potentially. I think he would be a better fit in Houston probably because I think he's more of a natural 4 than
Future
a
Houston
5.
Rocket, Paolo.
Yeah, that just seems right for some reason. It really does.
I think, yeah, I feel like it's pretty easy to think Jabari to the Orlando, Chet to OKC, and then Paolo to Houston. I don't know who the Kings are going to take at 4. I think the top 3 is pretty cemented, but the
They
Kings
could
have a
have
big
jumped up.
task because, bro,
Yeah.
the King, I mean, they did jump, just not as high. But, like, the Kings at pick 4, notorious for being terrible at drafting, like, this pick's a pretty big deal. And it's, I don't know. Now it's like, when they had that number 2 pick, it's looking like they picked a pretty decent player. They just not the right situation.
Yeah, I thought Bagley was gonna be that guy, and that's saying something because he went to Duke.
He was putting up like some 2010 games in Detroit though. So
yeah, he was good. Like I think at a certain stretch of his rookie year, he was playing really good, and then it just did not translate to the rest of his tenure there, and he kept getting injured too, so that played a part.
basketball hell, gotta slander it every episode. Man. Don't forget.
I just hope they don't take a guard, man. I feel like they're the type of team they're going to be like, let's go get Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, it's like if they go and draft a guard after trading away Tyrese Halliburton, I don't know if I could ever be more frustrated with that organization. Like, there's no shot that they go and do that. There's no way.
Put Jaden Ivey on the Knicks, bro. Come on.
No, I want him to go to either Detroit or Indiana.
I'm going to Indiana. This in the family.
Yeah. I just feel like the Knicks, he's not going to fit because they're going to try and play him at the 1, and he's a 2 guard. They're going to try and play him at the 1.
Oh, this mock draft is crazy. I just looked at the CBS Sports mock draft. It has Chet 1, Paolo 2 to OKC. It has Jabari to the Rockets, Jaden Ivey to the Kings at 4. I think Keegan Murray to Detroit at 5.
Man, I am making a rant video about the Kings if they take Ivy at 4 a couple of months after trading away Halliburton. Like, there is no shot. Like, there's no way.
Kings could low-key take – I think the Kings should take Keegan Murray. I think he could play next to Sabonis pretty decently, I believe, and watching him a little bit in college.
I think he's one of the most NBA-ready prospects in this class. And that's what they need, somebody that can come in right now and just perform.
Putting him next to, running Fox, Davion, Murray and Sabonis in your front court. I don't even know who's running the 3 for them. Is it still Harrison Barnes?
Yeah, it's still Barnes.
So, yeah, that's a solid 5. I think that's a playoff contending 5. I also, you guys totally hit it right on the nose with him saying the Spurs should take Matherin when they have, a million guards.
Bro, so many guards, man.
Lonnie Walker might be gone, but even still.
They got Keldon and Jakob Poeltl.
I consider Devin Vassell a guard.
Most of their front court is pretty disposable.
Devin Vassell should be a guard, and Keldon Johnson probably shouldn't be a full-time 4, at least in certain matchups. And they need some wings for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that team is another piece away from being not just a playing team, but maybe actually having a chance to make the playoffs because they have a nice little core. It's just they have 1,000 guards, so it's Lonnie Walker can't develop, and then Josh Primo's in the G League. They just need to make a good pick, man. They just need to make a good pick. They got pick 9. So when was the last time the Spurs had to pick this high? That might have been Tim Duncan.
Yeah, they
question mark.
Yeah, might be. They got picked 20 and 25 as well, so they definitely could add some things.
Yeah, the Spurs never draft high. It wasn't even their pick, but they got Kawhi at 15. I don't even think they had to pick that high since really.
They trade. Well, no, the last couple of years they've been a lottery team. That's how they got Vassell and Primo.
They're just always drafting 13.
But even then, I think both of those guys were pick 12. So
pick 12, pick 11, and then the last time they were in the lottery before that was, let me just continue to scroll for 10 years because it's been a minute, was Tim Duncan. Yeah.
It's like them and the Pacers, never in the top 10 of the draft.
Shout out to the Pacers, though. Pick 6, man. I've never seen that in my lifetime. Like, honestly, I don't
Facts,
think
though.
I have.
Facts.
I'd much rather be a team that's just like really good than really bad. Like at least I'm happy. Like Atlanta knew it was over, bottomed out, got Trae Young, and then got better.
What do y'all think the Blazers do?
I said it months ago, bro. If they're drafting a player here, they gotta get rid of Dame, and if they're trading it, they gotta go all in and trade. They gotta trade Anthony Simons as well.
Because they can create $60 million of
Yeah.
cap space.
They gotta
Yeah.
split them up, bro. I'm
I-
sorry, you can't have a superstar turning 30. I mean, if you don't want to call him a superstar anymore, that's acceptable, I guess. But if you want your perennial all-star player on your team that's like 30 now, dang near. If I think he might be 30, close to it, if not. But you can't do that with all that like young players around him. It doesn't make sense. Literally no sense at all.
Maybe they throw some bags at DeAndre Ayton, Miles Bridges. Maybe Zach LaVine can get lured there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who's coming to Portland, bro?
I want them to trade Dame. I just know it's not happening.
It's not. I
I
feel
want
like
them to trade Dame, but they're going to
Yeah.
use all that cap space. They're going to throw offer sheets. They're going to throw big offers. They're going to try and look at Jeremy Grant or guys like that. They're just going to make as average as a team they can again. Like I don't know why they traded everyone away at the deadline because they're going to be stuck in the same spot again. Just with
I
different
would
players.
love to see Dame on the Clippers, bro. You know the Clippers are actually second as preseason title favorites for next year.
really.
I think it's like Brooklyn.
Makes sense.
I'm pretty because I was just in the car for work, and people in the car at work, they like to put on that sports radio, and bro, it was one of those like just like radio shows it's on. They were talking about like the preseason odds came out way too early, and it's literally Brooklyn at 1 and the Clippers at 2.
And Brooklyn
And
wouldn't even be in my top 5. Nowhere near.
Because they were like trying to guess who it was, like they were playing one of those guessing games, and everybody was like the Bucks, the Suns, the Warriors. Like, please don't say it's the Lakers. And like nobody just thinks about the Clippers because they were AC this year, but it's like they have a consensus like top 6 player that just ain't been there all year.
Yeah, no, they definitely got a really good team heading into next year. It's just health for them as always, which will probably make them a lower seed because as we've now seen from Kawhi returning from injuries, if he plays 55 games next year, that's as much as he's going to play. And so they'll be good, but can they stay healthy and will they be like better than a 6 seed? Because they're going to be resting guys, specifically Kawhi.
Yeah, Paul George has had shoulder problems for like 5 years.
I think as long as one of the two play, I think they'll still be a very, very, very good team.
Yeah, I think they will be too. I just also think there's like 8 very good teams in the West.
At least 8 for real.
Yeah.
My
Like
favorite
I only have one play-in tournament spot available next year. I think there's 9 teams that are pretty much locked in, which is crazy.
My favorite playoff graphic last year was literally when the Clippers made the conference finals, and it was literally just call PG if you get lost, and it was like PG's face on Tyler's album. That was
I don't know if I ever saw that.
One of the coldest graphics I've ever seen.
I don't know if I ever saw that, man. Yeah, Clippers are in a nice spot, like you said, Devin. As long as they can stay healthy, that's the big thing. That is the big thing. Yeah, I'm glad. I am glad the Kings did jump up though, but hopefully they don't mess it up in Kings fashion.
The Kings just always draft it, bro. I swear, I feel like they might just end up like trading that pick and like Davion for like John Wall or something.
Oh my god.
It's just I don't know.
I'll give them some credit. Since Marvin Bagley, it hasn't been as bad. Like they had De'Aaron Fox before. Davion looks like he'll be fine. Halliburton was a good draft pick. That the trade, not so much. But
yeah, Halliburton was a great draft pick.
They've been better over the last couple of years. I wouldn't doubt they prove me wrong, but I'll give them slight credit.
They've been better as far as drafting for like talent, but they don't draft for fit.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like the only time they did well with the fit was the Tyrese pick. because I just think he was like the best player available, the most ready player available. But a lot of times they just be going for the fences, bro. It's like they just take the most weird picks that just don't make sense. Like I don't know how you can get it wrong time after time after time, man. They need to catch a break more than anybody, man. So hopefully they don't mess this one up.
I don't know, bro. I think they're about one or two like bad breaks away from maybe
Seattle.
getting moved to Seattle, man. I'm just saying, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be Vegas. Shoot, maybe they'll throw a curveball and it's like
Hawaii,
Kansas City or Louisville.
Hawaii. If a team was in Hawaii, that'd be so dope.
The Honolulu Luau's. I don't know.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, it would be. Well, give them 2 years, and then we'll see.
Bro, imagine. Oh my God, bro! If they move the team to Hawaii, it's got to be like the Maui Magma, bro. That'd be hard. I don't think they put. I don't think they. I
think Hawaii's like 6 hours behind though, in like Eastern time zone. So that's the only tough thing.
You know, games are starting at like 2:00.
Man, nobody's watching.
No doubt.
It's already a problem now. Like the coast thing, like people that gotta go to bed for work at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, like bro, West Coast games don't even be starting until 10:30 and they still don't start on time.
Hey,
it's always the Lakers too.
I've been complaining about it, and I'm 2 hours ahead of you guys, and still find it late. Like that's brutal.
Yeah, you're kind of lucky. You're right in the middle, low key. Like,
yeah. And we never change times here either. We hang out.
Really?
Yeah, we're the one province that just hangs out. It's kind of nice, but yeah, it's like even still, those games get late sometimes. Like finish 10:30, 11. Like I ain't staying up till 12, 12:30 watching basketball. Like I catch up on that in the morning. I'm good.
Yeah, I had to stop watching the Lakers this season though, because they kept having overtime games. I'm like, man, I'm going to bed at like 2 a.m. I gotta be up at like 8 a.m. for class. I'm like, man, I can't keep doing this. Had to make a business decision.
I mean,
bro.
Hey, if it's the Lakers on, I'm probably not watching anyways.
No, bro. The first like couple months, most entertaining basketball ever, because it was just funny to watch. Like it was hilarious. But after a certain point, it was like, okay, this is kind of like it's actually sad to watch now because it's so bad.
Yeah, it had entertainment value for a bit, but it only lasted so long.
I think I calculated though, if LeBron averages like 25 points per game next year, I think it'll take him like low 50s amount of games played to pass Kareem. So that'll probably be
he's passing Kareem with ease, bro.
Yeah, but there's a good chance it's next season. So maybe like next like February-ish.
Y'all think we've seen like the last of LeBron winning a championship?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
I think at least we've seen the last of him winning it as a Finals MVP. I don't know if somehow something happens where he goes and plays with Bronny and it's like some like young stack super team or something. Always possible.
Yeah, very interesting, man. The Lakers fans as a whole, I feel like they'd be like trying to not diss LeBron, but it's like, dang, you only got us one championship. Like, man, y'all have been in basketball futility for like 10 years. Y'all should be happy LeBron got you that one championship.
What were you doing before? Honestly, they had a really solid core before he was there. They just had Luke Walton.
True. But it's the Lakers. They be trying to accelerate the process a lot. So
if they would have had a good coach like Ingram, Kuzma, whether you like had Lonzo or actually kept Russell, either way, solid piece. I think KCP was already there.
They had Randall for a little bit.
Yeah,
Jordan
nice
Clarkson was there.
I think they had that number 4 pick. They would have had DeAndre Hunter on the roster, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. And Zion and AD could be playing together. That would actually be a great fit, to be honest.
That would be great.
Dude, it would just be hell for Pelicans fans because both of them out like the whole season, bro. Oh, my God. I'd be sick if I then. Yeah. Zion got the best situation, though, of anybody, dude. Like, if I was Zion, like, people talk about, oh, this young player in a small market has no help. They're going to ask out. Oh, they can't build around this player because nobody wants to go there, bro. The only small market team that's probably built around their young star better is Milwaukee, and they got a ring.
In Memphis.
It's because I guess the Pelicans are really good without Zion, but yeah, the Memphis was 20-2 without Ja.
Small market teams are winning, in my opinion. I don't think it's like I don't think big markets really dominate.
What's the biggest market
past.
left right now? I guess the Boston and Miami are like.
Boston's not like a big. It's a
big brand.
How do I say this?
Like the basketball brand is bigger than the actual city's market.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a lot of like the Bruins and like obviously the Patriots are pretty huge too. So it's like Boston's just such a sports city.
Big sports market, yeah, for sure. Because like even like Dallas is like a big market. Are they a big NBA market? I don't know.
Like San Francisco is like, I guess they were in Oakland until like 2 years ago. But San Francisco is like one of like the 5 or 6 biggest cities in the country. But it's like Golden State didn't really become a big market until the Steph era.
I think that's false. I think Golden State fans have always been there. Like even when they were like an 8 seed, like they believed in that team, bro. Like for real.
But like, were there people in Ohio, like in the middle of the country, random place that were fans? Like, there's always Boston fans, Lakers fans, probably some Miami fans. Fair amount of like, there's just those big brand teams. Like, there's people all across the country that are like Packers fans, for example.
Yes.
So it's like you didn't see that with Golden State until the Curry era.
I was just gonna say that. That's the Curry effect for real. Like kids in freaking probably New Hampshire are like Steph Curry fans.
Sure.
It's crazy.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's been good though. Like you look at these teams, like obviously Jimmy Butler was a sign and trade, but for the most part, when you look at these teams that we're seeing be competitive over the last couple of years, it's not dominated by marquee free agent signings.
Yep.
And it's good to see. It's good to see whether it is this quote unquote small markets or not that are left now. Not that there's necessarily any of the traditional big markets, but there isn't any of the traditional small markets. People are having success via the draft, and that's good to see. It's good to see that there's an avenue for all teams to have a chance to build that type of contender, and you don't have to go out and have that attraction of bringing a KD and a Kyrie in free agency.
Which is exactly how it should be, bro. I mean, because there was always like as a kid, there was fun in like rebuilding a team, like getting draft picks and stuff, and making the right signings in free agencies. Because I hope that like the era of like super teams and like big threes and just like 3 all NBA caliber players being together. I hope that era is kind of dead. Organically build, just make the right moves, right choices. Because I think that's a skill in its own right, like being able to like grow a team together and be great for years and years. Like that is a skill, and it's something that I think got kind of lost for a few years in the NBA. And now I think we're getting back to it, which is good to see. And that's why there's so many competitive teams, because a lot of teams are realizing like we gotta make the most of our picks. We got to make the right trades, got to make the right signings, and that's why like you said, the 4 teams left are like, even though some of them got some free agency moves and stuff, but most of it is done through the draft. And it's like they didn't go out and reach on a player. They went and made the right move, get the guy that fit. Like Jimmy Butler just fits in Miami. He might have not been the biggest name, but he fits. So, you just love to see that, man. I think they're laying the blueprint out for a lot of other teams that should be followed in the future.
Honestly, small markets, I feel like at least in the past like 10, 15 years in basketball have done pretty damn well for themselves overall. Like maybe it's just because like New York, Chicago, and LA for the most part have been like really bad for the past like 10, 15 years. Like Nets had that stretch where they were just terrible, making the terrible trades. Knicks are the Knicks. Lakers from like the end of Kobe's prime, besides the one LeBron year, have been struggling. Clippers have probably been the best. Bulls have spent a lot of time bad. Then apparently the 4th biggest market is Philly. And yeah,
they
it's
went
like
through the process.
Out of like the top 4 markets, which includes 6 teams, but I guess the Clippers and the Nets are kind of like, just because their brand is lower. But even out of them, like you have 1 conference finals by the Clippers and then the 1 ring by the Lakers. And that's literally all you have since like 2010. I guess no, the Bulls made 1 conference finals in like 2011.
Yeah, that's it though. Honestly, it's good to see.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
now like the
Yeah,
Western
just good to
Conference
see.
Finals is literally like the 5th and 6th biggest markets. Dallas and San Francisco are 5 and 6. Atlanta's 7. They made the conference finals last year. So there's at least there's a balance, I guess you see in that. I thought Miami would be bigger than it was. Miami's the 18th biggest market.
For real, it's weird.
That is weird.
Smaller than Orlando and Denver.
Miami has a terrible fan base. Fans were leaving the building like third quarter, game 2.
Facts though. Facts.
And they already get to the
Show.
games late.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Apparently parking's bad there though. I don't know. Every once in a while I see a tweet like that, and then there's people from Miami saying that it takes forever to get the arena, but I don't know.
Probably.
Either way,
I
it definitely doesn't look good. That's for sure.
I went to Miami last summer, and it was like I couldn't imagine like driving in that city. It just seems like hell. I couldn't do it.
It looks like Miami's like the smallest market to have teams in all 4 of the major sports, I think. Yeah, from what I'm seeing here.
I was thinking, whose idea was it to put a team in Utah?
Oh, it's so funny too because like the New Orleans Jazz just makes the most sense in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you would have thought it would have been like a Bobcats Hornets situation where eventually whenever they brought a new team to New Orleans, they would have just taken the name back.
Nope.
But
Don't
it's
make no
still
sense to
the
me, man.
Utah Jazz. And it's like the team doesn't have any rings or anything. So what are you upholding? Like an overrated point guard and a child molester? Like, not to get controversial, but
Ain't nothing controversial about it.
Oh,
It's just
man,
the way it
yeah.
is.
We don't rock with Carmelo, man. That's so sad because that's the only NBA player I've ever met, and that was before I knew. I was a kid. I was like 12 years old. Went to his camp.
Bro, like whose idea was it to put a team in Sacramento? They don't have any other team. It's like the 5th team in California. So like you already have plenty of teams in Cali, and bro, there's no way people in Sacramento weren't just already Lakers fans. Like there's no way they weren't.
They have a pretty good fan base, actually. They sell out a lot of games.
Well, it's because that's the only team in their city now. So I guess if you want to look at it that way, like the team has nothing else. Like I think like the Blue Jackets are pretty huge in Columbus, but it's not like hockey's that huge in this part of the country. I think it's just because that's the only team in Columbus.
Fair
Besides
point.
college.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Ohio State's the biggest game in town, but as far as pro sports go, it's like the Blue Jackets is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, we're the same way here. Like, we're pretty small here. We don't have any big sports teams, but our Canadian Football League, like, we're not big football, generally speaking, but we'll get 60,000 people out for a football game every weekend for sure. Like,
That's a lot.
so definitely makes sense. Yeah, and a city at 220,000 people,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Not for real. I don't know. Utah just throws me off. Like there's no professional teams in the state of Utah, if I'm not mistaken. Like I can't think of one. Even in hockey,
There's some states though that like they're pretty big with sports, but they just don't have pro teams. Because I think the 2 biggest examples are probably like Kentucky and Alabama. Or maybe I think I would say
Virginia,
Oklahoma
too.
as well, but Oklahoma got OKC. But like
Virginia's like I don't know. I feel like Virginia could have like a professional team. I just don't see why they don't.
Virginia, honestly, yeah, Virginia might be a little bit bigger of an anomaly. The thing there might be because it's so close to DC.
Mm-hmm.
But even like Baltimore is also pretty damn close to DC, and they have sports teams. So,
True.
But I think the thing with like I don't think anybody's gonna make a sports team in Kentucky because there's UK. Everybody's a big UK person. I think that's why Columbus hasn't got a ton because like Ohio State runs the game. They kind of stuck to like Cleveland, Cincinnati, and then even like Alabama is all Crimson Tide. Like it's a lot of those like Southern Belt states where like SEC college football is so huge and so ingrained in the culture. Like no team you put down there is going to beat the rivalry of Alabama Auburn.
True. Did y'all see the all defensive teams? Should we touch on that?
Yeah, I did see those. I felt like those were pretty good for the most part, other than I probably wouldn't have had Thibault in there, but
That was my only one that I was kind of iffy on.
But other than that, I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Did we do all NBA? I don't remember if we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We did
that
defensive
in our
team.
award stuff. We didn't do defensive team, but
I don't know if we did defensive team. Yeah, we definitely did all NBA because I remember.
We didn't.
I remember
do
talking about
defensive
Trae
or
Young.
rookies, but we did all NBA.
I feel like we did rookies very loosely. I remember talking about how like
think, yeah, we
Herb
just
Jones
talked
and some
about
people needed a spot.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was the same episode.
Mikal Bridges being on there
loosely
as a
talked
guard
about
is really weird to me.
Yeah, me too.
Him, yeah,
it's a bit
especially like
weird.
the fact that he got 98 votes as a guard. That's kind of weird.
I want to
Yeah,
know who the
that's
one
weird.
person who did not vote for Marcus Smart was.
Had to
So-
be. Actually, I was gonna say had to be like a Lakers or Toronto writer, but
I
I don't know.
Take their vote away, man. That's a defensive player to you.
I don't know. Rudy first team, I guess. Maybe I probably would have said Rob. I don't know.
I think if Rob didn't miss those 20 games, he might have won both Depoy and been first team, to be honest.
yeah, I can agree with that.
Bro, that
Agree
first
with
half
that.
of game one, he was everywhere for that first 20 minutes of the game, bro. He was killing.
It's crazy. Yeah, Draymond missing a ton of games really kind of
Yes.
screwed him a little bit because he was like in Depoy conversations heavily. Like it was his award to lose. I think he got 5 first team votes and only 24 second team votes. Like he barely made it. Last guy on there.
That's tough.
No,
That's the thing
it is
too.
tough.
But like Matisse got 71 second team votes. Like
That is wild.
he got more total votes than Drew did, I think. Because Drew got Drew had like 65 total votes. It was just more than were first team.
And Matisse is so overrated at this point. Honestly.
Oh, getting spicy.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought he shouldn't have made first team last year.
Yeah.
My personal opinion. I think he shouldn't have.
I mean, just as a player,
I agree.
it's just like when you're not being guarded out there, who cares? Because like if offense is just generally greater than defense and you're making shots 0% of the time. But even when you're guarding somebody, they're going to make that shot maybe like 30% of the time. So
It's
then you
just-
might
it's
still be
not
a
it.
net negative.
And I'm gonna be honest, he's still good defensively, but he did not impress me in that Raptors series, even defensively. He was fine, but it wasn't like, wow, he's clamping. He just wasn't. He just wasn't. And sure, obviously he's a good defender. I'm not going to judge him solely off 6 games, but if you're out there in the playoffs when times matter, you got to show up on the defensive end if that is your thing, and you are quite literally a 99% of the time on offense. So
All I'm gonna say is last season we saw Ben Simmons' impact in the playoffs defensively. Trae Young was not getting Trae Young. He was getting his assists, but he was not scoring the ball. He was not scoring the ball on Ben Simmons, man. I don't know. They might look back on that trade and be like, "Dang, maybe we should have just tried to make it work."
Yeah,
Maybe-
definitely.
Maybe they should have kept
definitely
Gabe
gonna
up
be hard to
Matisse.
see.
I don't know. Yeah.
The fact that the thing that I find so hard to see Matisse as properly rated is the fact that he's been involved in so many discussions for relatively big trades is an important piece.
Mhm.
I don't see him as that. I just don't. Come playoff time for a team that actually wants to have him as a valuable player, I don't see it as we really want Matisse Thybulle out on the floor right now.
I'm not a fan of picking up exposable players, bro. I would much rather if you said player A and player B, and you said player A is 40% more talented, but player B is more well-rounded and doesn't have holes in their game. I'm taking the player without the holes, because when you get playoff time, that player that's more talented might just end up playing like trash because he gets exposed. At least the well-rounded player is still just doing what he does all the time.
Yeah. Especially nowadays, if you can't hit an open 3-point shot, you're really a net negative offensively. Having you on the floor is playing 4-on-5, bro. You got to be able to at least like hit an open shot. Like guys have had to learn. Like I have to be able to knock down open jump shots. And Matisse's still young, so he's still got time. But man, he better be in that gym heavy this offseason, putting up 1,000 makes a day from the corners.
He just needs to do what Lou Dort did, bro. Like Lou Dort literally came in as like dang near a 0 on offense, but like elite defense.
Yeah.
And Lou Dort got to work, and I mean,
isn't he like 40% now? Or he was close to it one
Close
year?
to
Close
it,
to
but
that, I think. Yeah.
he has some pretty big games. Like I wouldn't say commonly, but like every now and then, like you'll see a pretty solid stat line from him. So it's like
It's
he
possible.
at least he figured out how to become that like guy that came in with his defense and just develop into like rounding himself out. And obviously he's still gonna hang his hat on defense, but he's not a liability anymore by far.
It was 40% from the field this year, 33% from deep, but that was on 7.7 attempts.
That's fine. That's like Miles Bridges shooting 31%. He was shooting like 8 threes a game. That's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, welcome to the 3-Point Weekly After Show where we talking about Jack Harlow, Pusha T, and Kendrick. Low-key, I think all three of their albums were kind of better than Future's. And that's not even saying Future's was bad. I think it just didn't stick with me as much.
Yeah. Future's been kind of iffy the last few years for me. Which he doesn't have anything else like left to prove. But I don't know. His album was okay. Doesn't have good replay value for me though. So far, I might revisit this song.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about that one.
It had a couple bangers, but it just doesn't do anything new for me, bro. I always say that about artists. When you're dropping new albums, if you don't do anything new and you just revert to what made you good, you're going to crank out a couple hits, but it's like, why would I listen to this album over your other album that I probably like better and it does the same thing?
Yeah, I feel like Dre's gone to that mode too. Like it just seems like he's gonna crank out his hits and just do like what he's been doing. And it's like, this is cool. I'll listen to some of these songs, but as I like projects, man. I feel like albums, like they're an experience. That's why like Kendrick dropping, like that's an experience of an album. When Cole drops, that's an experience. Drake used to be an experience, but now he's like, I'm gonna just drop my hits. And
That's
I think
why
Future the same way too.
I like Kanye so much for that, bro. Literally just for that. If I go listen to Graduation, then listen to Yeezus, then listen to Pablo, then listen to 808s, then listen to Donda. I'm probably not going to go listen to J.I.K., but it's definitely a different experience. Kids See Ghost, it's all like you get a different feel and vibe from all of them. And so that's what makes him so like well-rounded as an artist. Because there's not one album you pick out and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go listen to that one every time.
Yeah, like College Dropout, that is an experience. Like that's art, like at its peak. Because it got the skits in it. Like that's one album, like you got to listen to it all the way through, front to back. Like you can't put it on shuffle. You got to listen to it all the way through. Yeah, that's why Kanye's probably like my top 2 favorite artists ever, for real. Him and Cole, they got that for me.
I knew number 1 was Cole for you.
Yeah, Cole's my guy. He's been my guy for like a decade, bro.
You been on Cole since the Sideline Story?
Yeah, that's actually when I first got hip, was Sideline Story. Yeah. And then when I went back and listened to his mixtapes like years later, I'm like, dang, he's been that guy. Like since like 2009. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Travis a lot, but I still haven't gone to listen to Days Before Rodeo.
For real? Great project. And I don't even really like Travis for real, but that was a great project.
It's because I got into him late. I probably didn't even get into him for real. Like, obviously, I knew, like, Antidote and, like, a couple of their, like, big-ass songs, but it wasn't for real until the Birds in the Trap era that I, for real, like, got into him.
That's another good project, man.
Underrated project, bro. I feel like a lot of people's ranking was, like, Rodeo, Astroworld, Birds in the Trap, but, like, Birds in the Trap holds up.
I can see it. Yeah, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. I was talking with somebody the other day. Remember everything that happened at the Astroworld Fest? I feel like that just like disappeared out of nowhere.
Everything disappears, bro. I hate to be
Everything
that
exists on the internet for a day, and
Bro,
it's just gone.
Man.
I hate to be that guy, but bro, there's been some terrible events that have happened recently in the world that even they disappeared way too quick.
Yeah.
What I love and hate about Twitter is that they can't take anything serious. And sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it's not. And I know y'all saw I guess Brittany Griner is actually about to finally be like sent back to U.S. soil in a prisoner swap.
Yes, bro. Prisoner swap for like wasn't that like some dude that like helped with like terrorism or something? I know it was some
He's
like
like an
pretty big
arms.
time criminal.
He's an arm like a firearm dealer, I
Yeah.
guess. And people was like trading a shooter for a big in 2022 is crazy. Like, man, y'all really can't take anything serious, bro.
Hey, here's the thing though, is that we all just laughed at that. So it's like
Yeah.
I think there's a very fine line between like dark humor and just straight poor taste.
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
dark humor.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
true. Very true.
Yeah. There's the fine line between being able to have that dark humor as long as the people that are engaging with the dark humor actually understand the underlying things behind it. Because if people are just making jokes and they actually think it's a joke, then that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, you gotta have a good audience for it for sure, bro.
Free
Facts.
Brittany though. Didn't she literally get arrested for like having carts?
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
been like 2 months, I think. She's
Personally,
been locked up for 2 months.
I'm not one to mess with the carts, but come on, bro. You should not be in jail over that. I know foreign countries can have their own policies and everything, but come on, man.
But dang, to have her detained for that long, that's just insane. In a Russian prison? Russian prison?
She in the gulag, bro.
Bro. Like, Russia's one of those places. I'm never touching foot in that country.
Nope. That, North Korea, low-key China, probably not going to any of them.
It's crazy because I used to want to visit Beijing, but not anymore.
Nah, bro. Ever since I've seen like the air quality and stuff, they were wearing masks there decades before COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's how a lot of Asian countries are for real. Like when my dad was still in the military, we were stationed in Japan for a few years. And like masks were pretty normal for people, like often. So I was like, it was kind of weird to like see it become a trend in the world. But they've been doing that for like you said, decades, long time.
Yeah. I mean, heck, even regardless of air quality, just like even some people that were around campus just would feel a bit sick pre-COVID and would wear masks. Like it's just part of their culture.
Man, not here though. And I swear, as soon as the mask mandate got lifted in Columbus at Ohio State, everybody had their mask on except for me.
I felt a little bit different at school though, just because our campus was like the 92% vaccination rate or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not really worried about the people I'm around on a day-to-day basis now. So I felt kind of comfortable, but I was also like the guy where I'm like, okay, if somebody else doesn't feel comfortable, I don't care what they do, bro. Like you do whatever makes you feel the best.
I was just trying to be safe, man, because they had just lifted it and everybody took their mask off. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep mine on.
It was right before spring break too. They're trying to set people up, bro. If people came back no mask on, it was about that.
And it's crazy because like the Monday of spring, like the first Monday of spring break, I felt sick. Like my allergies were kicking my butt, bro. I felt sick. I'm like, no, this ain't good. I'm definitely keeping my mask on when I get back.
I still hate coughing. It's been 2 years and like about 2 years and 2.5 months pretty much since shit really kicked up. And I still do not want to cough in public, bro. Literally anytime I feel it coming, dude, I'll get a cup of water so fast. I'm like drowning myself. I'm like, please, no.
Facts, bro. Facts.
You know, everybody's about to be like,
bro, real talk. I still be doing that. Like if I hear somebody sneeze in class, I'll be looking back like, y'all good? Y'all good? Y'all don't got that COVID, do you? But it also seems like COVID like really died down. Like when Al Horford was out for game 1, I was like, oh, that's still a thing. Like,
he was out for like 2 days. He said he was literally protocol for game 1, and he was back by game 2.
Literally just out long enough to test negative. Obviously, he isn't really feeling much effects because otherwise you're just not out there.
Yeah, which is so crazy, bro. Like, I don't know.
I know. Obviously, it's still affecting a ton of people daily, and so, like I don't like not to take away from that at all, because people have plenty of experiences and like long COVID is a thing. But I'm very happy to see that we're kind of on the other side of it now. Stuff's getting more.
Hopefully.
Normal, at least. I mean, yeah. I know, because there were times where it was like, okay, we're kind of coming out of it, but it's like low-key not really, and there was like bigger waves and stuff. Now I feel like it's been like a solid 2 or 3 months of like, okay, we're kind of getting past it.
Yeah, I haven't really heard of anybody I know getting COVID for maybe since like December for real. Maybe January.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Those last antibodies kicked in. All those people got it around like Christmas break. They got immune for like 3 months or so, or whatever, how it works. Y'all probably just heard thunder in my mic, but it's storming here.
Yeah, it's storming here too, bro. Man. Yeah. Ohio weather's crazy, bro. Can't stand it. Y'all got anything planned for the summer though? Y'all taking any trips or anything?
Yeah, I'm going to Italy in like early August, right before school starts. Going to Rome and taking a cruise through some Grecian islands.
Okay.
Getting out the country, bro.
You taking a big boy trip for real?
Yeah, I'm getting out the country for the first time. Well, technically the first time I've been to the Bahamas on a cruise, but like I didn't even have to have a passport or anything then, so I actually had to go buy my passport like over spring break.
Okay.
They be charging way too much money for that, bro. It cost me like $200 something just to get out of the country. Like,
yes,
we're being held hostage here, bro. Come on.
You got to get it done again in 10 years. Did you get the 10-year one?
I assume so. I just got the basic like regular passport book.
Yep. I gotta get mine done again in like 3 years, I think.
I mean, yeah, obviously you got yours. You said you were living in Japan.
Yeah, I had to get mine done again like in 2015. So yeah. So I gotta get done in 2025, which is crazy. That's 3 years away.
Bro, Black Ops 2 is literally in 3 years. That is wild to me.
Bro.
Call of Duty Ghost already happened in Modern Warfare 3, I think. Pretty sure COD Ghost was like 2019. It's been a grip since then.
Yeah. Time be flying, bro. This year's gone by fast. It's almost June.
I love when the years of like when futuristic stuff takes place, like passes, and we are not even close to that, man.
Man, for real.
Like, bro, what was it like? I think it was like the Jetsons. Like, I feel like the Jetsons took place in a year that passed a minute ago.
Was it? It might.
I don't know, to be honest.
Maybe like 2020.
Oh no, the Jetsons took place in 2062. But nah, bro, there's no way.
I think
that we're about to be at that point in 40 years.
I think Back to the Future was like closer to present time. Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
I think that was the one. I remember like, when did Back to the Future take place?
I think that was 20.
They visited 2015.
It was 15. I knew it was some like high school times. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. The only thing we got like that's somewhat futuristic is like cars that drive themselves. Like that's
for real. I think they started like flying car tech, but it's just stuff like that's so expensive. Like, there's a big difference between something getting invented and stuff being like available to the common person.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
bro, TVs were invented way before everybody had a television in their home.
I mean, that's how it works with a lot of things. It's kind of how it is. Everything just starts off stupid expensive.
Yeah, facts.
What about you, Tyrik? Any plans for the summer?
The only thing I got like set in stone is I'm going to Florida about a month from now, June 22nd. That's really it. My parents were talking about going on a cruise. I don't know how serious they are, but my one question was, do I have to pay? And my mom said no. So I'm like, okay, I'll go if y'all go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking the important questions right there.
Man. That's it, though. I've never been on a cruise, though, which is kind of like, I'm not big on like boats and water, but I feel like it's something I got to experience before I like, leave this life.
So yeah, that's fair.
Definitely be a good first time experience. I don't know where they want to go though, but should be fun if it happens.
Man.
For sure.
I'm more happy to go to this new apartment than anything. Sign my lease. Feeling good, man. Proud tenant.
Yeah, that new apartment feeling is a good one until like you guys start paying rent, and then it's like okay.
Even that security deposit was making my pockets a little light. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. That's like, I just started this one job. I started working at FedEx. And I'm like, I think I'm about to go back to Amazon, bro, because they pay like $20 an hour now. And that sounds like some really good money for a weekly pay. So might be making my way back to the Zon.
Dude, weekly pay is crazy. I've never worked a job with weekly pay. I've always had bi-weekly. And, dude, I can't
For
imagine
real?
getting a paycheck every Friday. That would be beautiful.
I've only done weekly paid jobs, except maybe one. Maybe one was bi-weekly, and that was just so terrible. I'm like, this is terrible. I can't do this.
It's just that second week, bro. The first week, you're like, yeah, I just got paid. Like, I got money to go do stuff. And that second week, you're
Yeah.
like,
Man, I might not be able to go out this weekend, man.
I might have to wait till Friday on me.
Man. For real. And, bro, the way gas prices is now, it's like, I don't even be wanting to leave the house, bro. I shouldn't have to pay $4.50 a gallon in the state of Ohio. That's ridiculous.
I'm happy, like, number one, I'm at college at the time, so I'm just walking. And then when I'm driving, like at home, most of my friends live pretty close by, so I'm not driving hella far. Like when I gotta like go visit my dad, it's like 35 minutes over there. So then I'm driving like an hour round trip, bro. It's like $25 of gas just to drive to go visit my family, bro.
I filled my tank up like 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and none of them were full tanks because I'm just like, bro, this is too expensive. I'm not paying $60 to fill up my tank.
Nope.
That's insane.
I just put 20 in and then hope to God the prices drop. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get a fill up when it goes down, and then it doesn't go down.
Yeah, I feel that.
It hasn't gone down. It's been over $4 for like 3 months now, bro.
Yeah,
we might not see a good price soon.
Yeah, probably not. It's summer. It's probably ain't changing for a bit. Half the reason it's up is not changing anytime soon. Essentially, gas
Inflation.
companies are just making it more expensive because they can.
Long
story short, they're undersupplying the need for supply so they can make more money.
Dare I say, I miss quarantine, bro. They had gas at like 197, bro.
Bro, I was filling my tank up like every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, like I fill my tank up, and that's because I was only driving to work because I was still working. But like, gas was like 180. Ooh, good times, man.
Gas being cheap, bro.
I don't care. Quarantine, say what you want. I loved it because I had the most money I ever had in my life because I was still working. We was getting essential pay, so we was getting extra money on our paychecks every week. And then the stimulus checks, like, bro, I was balling. I had so much bread. I missed that time.
First 2 years of college, they said, yeah, here's a federal refund that every college gets. I saw that little like $1,000 pop up in the account.
Yeah, facts. Oh,
hey, I was being financially responsible. Them federal refunds, they're getting used towards rent now. They still sitting in there.
For real, smart.
Yes,
very smart. Gabe, you got 2 years of college left?
3 semesters. So,
you only got 3 semesters?
Okay. Yeah, cause I got a little ahead of myself. I'll be doing too much.
Be like that. But you're only like 20, aren't you?
I'm 19.
Oh, you're fine.
And just cruising right through.
Yeah, no, I think I graduated like 2 months after my 21st birthday. So
that's smooth.
Bro will not be going to bars unless I decide literally that I want to get like a fake ID like a year before I turn 21.
That's tough. You're not missing too much, for real.
No, hell, I haven't even still haven't even been to one, and I could have gone to one 3 years ago. Although not really, or 2 years ago. 2 years ago, although not really, because then COVID happened like a week later. But
yeah,
a week later, bro had a week to enjoy his fun.
Oh God, I'd definitely be going out, but I'm to the point now where it's like it's a once like maybe a month type thing. Other than like my first semester at Ohio State this past fall, I was going out every weekend for sure because I just wanted to get the college experience for real. But since then, it's been like once a month, maybe if that. It's kind of overrated for real.
I'm a kickback kind of guy, hanging out with like a couple of the bros, just chilling.
Yeah, me too, for real.
Yeah,
that's just crazy. How much college do you got left, Devin, or at uni?
I got 2 to 3 years. I got 2 years of schooling and then hopefully an internship in between. But
okay,
2 more years of classes. So I'm halfway through. I already got 2 years in the bag, so not too bad.
Gotta get that internship. Major requires it.
Facts.
Well,
I was wondering if the lantern
No.
doesn't count.
Nope. I asked my
I swear
advisor. It does not count.
I swear she said it did, but
It's
I thought
'cause
she
it's
was bullshitting.
She said it didn't count because it's student led, like it's student ran.
Mhm. Yeah, I gotta get me one then for sure.
Yeah. How long do you have left? A year? Like a year and a half, or
I got 2 semesters. If everything goes as planned, I have 2 semesters left.
so you done? Okay. I'll be out like one semester after you. Follow behind.
Yeah, you ahead of the curve, man. You definitely ahead of the curve.
I had to get up through, bro.
You must have been taking like 18 credit hours a semester or something, bro.
No, okay. So I've taken 16 or 17 pretty much every semester, except I took 17 and a half this last because I had like a band class,
Yeah.
which was just like hella chill. So that's why it was only like a half. Then I had like 5 extra credits from doing what's it called? From doing the AP Calc. I actually passed the AP Calc test. I failed the rest of them, but I passed AP Calc. So that gave me like 5 credits because I didn't have to take math. So that got me ahead. So just all that got me to where like I just take like 16 next, like 2 of the next semesters.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I think I take 15 one semester, which is low-key like 17, 16, I think. But because like you get like a credit hour or something from doing like the lantern stuff.
Yep. That's smooth. Yeah, I'm kind of ready to be done with college for real. Just so I can see what that next step of life is, man.
I know. Like now even working like this little like even though it's like a school newspaper, like working a career job instead of just a job is like
Yes.
A career is so much better because I'm just doing it and I'm like, this cool. Like I enjoy doing this.
Yeah, facts. I think that's the biggest part. Just find something that you like to do that pays your bills too at the same time. That's everybody's dream, to be honest. Doing something that you love.
I always tell people that people like they get bread, but they work like 60 hours a week. I'm like, dude, what good is bread if you ain't got no time to spend it?
Feel me? Yeah. You gotta do something that you actually love to do. Because I feel like a lot of people just have jobs that's like, I don't love it, but it keeps my bills paid, which is cool. But I don't know. I don't want to live life like I'm doing something that I hate just to get my bills paid and stuff, and just make sure my family's fed. Like I actually want to do something that I actually like get up to look forward to.
I think more people realize that though. Like you see, like, bruh, the reason all the fast food restaurants and like gas stations and stuff are understaffed is because the workers get treated so bad. Nobody wants to work there. So people actually started like they offer like McDonald's hires at like 16 an hour now, but still nobody wants to work there because the quality of life sucks.
And they offer a signing bonus, bro. The one by my apartment is like a $300 bonus if you start. I'm like, dang. Wish they had that when I was starting working.
Man, I know. When I got hired at Wendy's, they said $9 an hour, and you're waiting for your first paycheck.
Bruh, it took me like 6 months to find my first job after I turned 16 because I just couldn't find a job that was actually hiring.
Got my first when I was like 17, I think. And that was pandemic summer, so everybody was looking for people.
Pandemic Gabe.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of 3 Point Weekly. Regardless of the after show content, be sure to let us know your thoughts on the playoffs, who you think will end up in the finals, and your eventual winner of the title. We thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.